Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2020 action film Legacy. Now this is a film that is directed by R. Ellis Fraser and it stars Louis Mandylor, Luke Goss, Isla Baskin and Renton Pexa. Now this is a film that focuses on where to start with this one? Right, okay, there is an international, if you like, gangster, war criminal, who is, at the beginning of the film, arrested by Luke Goss's character, who is an agent for British intelligence. And so they arrest this guy they've been after for 20 years, put him behind bars. However, he puts a plan in motion to take out those who have evidence against him, and primarily his love child, I guess. One of the things he did was he used to hold women hostage and then rape them, and some of them became pregnant, so he has some illegitimate children out in communities in the US. So he tasks his own personal hitman to go and take out these illegitimate children, because if they can be linked to him through their DNA, it will give the case against him all the evidence that they need to put him away for a very long time. So Jake is one of his illegitimate children. He's adopted by Louis Mandylor's character and his wife. Louis Mandylor has been teaching to hunt. They decide to go out on a hunting trip, and this hitman turns up and begins to stalk them. However, Luke Goss's character, Agent Grey, turns up and tries to help them to stay alive. That's the best way I can describe this film, really. It's probably quite unnecessarily complex, I think, this film, in a lot of ways. What are my thoughts on Legacy? It's alright. I didn't go into this film expecting to see something that was going to blow me away, if I'm perfectly honest. I think you kind of know what you're going to get these days with a Luke Goss film. It's pretty standard, straight to streaming, straight to DVD type action film. And that's what you kind of get here with this film. It tries, well, I think it tries but fails to do something different. It tries to make you feel, I don't know, sympathy for the killer, for the hitman in some ways, or certainly tries to help you understand what he's doing and why he's doing it, or help you relate to him, because he shows mercy a couple of times in the film. And there's a couple of bits of dialogue between him and a couple of other characters that make you suggest that he's kind of questioning what he's doing through these conversations, and there's like a mutual respect between him and Luke Goss almost. So it tries to do that, but I couldn't get out of my head the fact that this hitman earlier in the film is, dissolved a teenager in acid and chopped him up pretty much. I struggled to feel sympathy for this character. I really did, and especially when you learned more about him through the Luke Goss character, how many people he's killed since he was a teenager, and he's this brutal killer. And I didn't feel any sympathy for him, and I didn't feel any empathy for him, and it just seemed a little bit odd. It almost like it tried to, I don't know, it tried to be a straight up action flick but give you a moral standing or some moral high ground on it. I don't know, I didn't understand really some of the things it was trying to do, this film. Sometimes I just want to watch an action flick and be entertained, and the simple concept of bad guy assassin is hunting these characters, they've got to stay alive. It's very simple. It's been done it's been done many times before, more successfully, but it can be a simple plot, but it can work, and that aspect of the film does kind of work. It's not a bad watch in that sense. There's also a couple of other things they do as well. They give the son Jake a medical condition, and the name escapes me now. You know, essentially where you've got to if you bruise or you cut yourself, you can bleed to death and all that kind of stuff. He's got that condition, so he's got to take his meds at a certain point, and he runs out, and he's got 24 hours to live, sort of thing, until he gets his next medication. And there's even a scene where he does get cut, and you're thinking, ooh, doesn't really do anything, go anywhere. So I think they could have played on that as well, and hyped up the tension. I think if earlier on in the film, if it had been severely bruised or injured, so he was bleeding, it would have hyped up this tension, the fact that they need to get out of there quicker, but they were maybe trapped or surrounded, or I don't know. I think it would have helped the film to ramp up that tension in those in that way. There's also another one. They bring this other assassin in that turns up out of nowhere. He calls him in and he just turns up, and he looks like something from a cartoon. He's got an eye patch on and stuff, and it was like, was that just filler? Was that to add another action scene into the film because it felt it needed it or something? Didn't make much sense. So it's a little bit of a mess, this film. It's a bit muddled. It's a decent idea, it's a simple idea, and when you strip all that stuff away that harms the film, the simple idea kind of works. The chase survives aspect of the film works, but the other stuff, when he's trying to, you know, I don't know, I don't take this moral high ground almost with this killer, and where you maybe feel sympathy for him or empathy. It was just a bit of an odd choice, especially when he'd melted somebody earlier in the film. So it's a 5 out of 10 for me. It's a bit of a missed opportunity. Not that I expected it to be anything but, you know, pretty average, this film, but it's certainly not terrible. I've seen certainly far worse than this film. It's a very disposable, watchable action flick, and everybody in the film does their job well. There's nobody that stands out as really poor or anything. But it's certainly not an action film that you will be long remembering after you have finished watching it, that's for certain. So that's my review for Legacy. I hope you liked it, I hope you enjoyed it, and of course I will see you back for more content on Screen Stars very, very soon.